EastEnders villain Gray Atkins could be set to meet his maker this Christmas, and it seems Whitney Dean might be the Walford resident to bring his reign of terror to an end. Gray, played by Toby Alexander Smith, has caused a whole manner of heartache and misery on EastEnders since his true colours were revealed over 2 years ago. The villain has murdered 3 Walford residents, including his own wife Chantel Atkins. Jessica Plummer managed to get Chelsea Fox, Zara Abrahams, pregnant, and the pair are now planning to tie the knot on Christmas Day. However, the constant thorn in his side at the moment on the BBC soap is Whitney Dean, Shona McGarty, as she is the only one who has seen his dark side. As she gets closer to the truth about his killer ways, will history repeat itself as she murders him in self-defense and on his wedding day of all days? Whitney and Gray have a complicated relationship as they have experimented with being a couple before, but it has never worked. The villain's violent side has always reared its head, but he has never physically hurt his on-off lover. Instead, he killed her fiancé Kush Kazami, Dawood Gadami, earlier this year. She has no idea who was behind her partner's death, but as Christmas approaches, she could begin to question whether Gray had something to do with it. Recently, she discovered the lawyer was lying about being at the office and he had actually been sacked and was working at a fast food restaurant. This could make her think about what else the killer has been lying about, and as she begins to put the pieces of the puzzle together, she could realize he has a connection to Kush's death. As Christmas Day dawns, Gray could be home alone as he waits for the wedding car to arrive to take him to the place where he and Chelsea will be getting married. At this moment, Whitney could arrive at the house to confront him about her findings and to get a confession he was the one who murdered her fiancé. Pushed into a corner and with Whitney pressing the wrong buttons, he could blurt out he did get rid of Kush to make sure she was his forever. With Pandora's box opened, the killer could also confess to ending Chantel's life and to murdering Tina Carter, Louisa Bradshaw White, last Christmas. Unfortunately, with his deadly secrets out in the open, the villain could make it very clear he has to kill Whitney, as she could jeopardize his future happiness. This could cause Whitney to jump into self-defense mode, and just as he lunges towards her, she could deliver a deadly blow to his head. It's not been announced by the bosses of the show Gray will be leaving this Christmas, but he is just one person who could potentially be killed off. Fans have been calling for his comeuppance for over a year following Chantel's death, and he could be a similar demise like that of Archie Mitchell, Larry Lamb, who was killed by a blow to the head on Christmas Day in 2009. According to statistics collated by BuzzBingo, the most common way for people to have been murdered on the square is by a blow to the head. 9 former residents have lost their lives as a result of being hit on the wrong point on their head, the statistics reveal. Following closely behind this method is being knocked over by a vehicle, and being shot is also a popular choice for a killer. With this in mind, it is likely Gray could be killed this way as Whitney becomes the people's hero by getting rid of the murderer once and for all. Viewers will remember Whitney has killed before, as she ended up stabbing her stalker Leo King, Tom Wells, last February. This too was in self-defense, as he had been following her for months, hoping to get justice for his father and paedophile, Tony King, Chris Coghill. Instead, he ended up losing his life as his reign of terror came to an end, and ironically, it was Gray who helped Whitney with her court case. Being killed on his wedding day would be the perfect ending for Gray, given how the first person he killed was his late wife. It would be as if he was being struck down before he had a chance to ruin another of his wife's lives, as Chelsea would be a target for him in the future. As Walford tries to come to terms with a killer walking amongst them, Whitney could struggle to accept she has murdered 2 people. Albeit it in self-defense, she could be left feeling worried she will take someone else's life in the distant future. Will she plan her own exit from the square to rid herself of her troubled past?